So the first thing I want you to see, do you see where it says the first French voyage was in 1534 by Jacques Cartier? Do you see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Now, that's clear enough, right? As notes to remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one I wrote here is Iroquois. The acronym is SLIM. The Iroquois traits are sedentary, longhouse, Iroquois, matriarchal. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And then here, I wrote down here versus Algonquin, which was pawn. And the reason why I did that was just so that you know that when there's on the test, if they start saying patriarchal or things, wigwam, you'll know, A, that can't be Iroquois. Is that useful to you, or should I get rid of this?
Actually, it's pretty useful.
Yeah? Okay. Good. Number 3, consequences for natives. They became dependent on European products. Native tribes became disorganized, and there were diseases. So do you want me to write more to this, like to say contact with the European gave these consequences for the natives, or is this enough?
Yeah, it's short and understandable.
Okay.
Like, even I'm more of a complex guy, but I mean, like, just doing that for just like memorizing it, looking at it.
Yeah, because I want to be concise, but also so it makes sense. So here I just realized 16th century, I put in brackets 1500s. Does that help?
Yeah.
Or yeah? Okay. I
That's
just want to make sure, because I know that, you know, it may help in terms of the timeline. Whereas here, we're looking at 17th century is the 1600s. Okay. Does that help? And then this is the, I should maybe highlight him, promoted economic diversification to stimulate the economic development and increased settlement. So he was all, what you need to know about Jean Talon is that he was in charge of making the economy diversified, and in other words, to do things other than the fur trade and increase settlement. Is there anything else that I should add to that? Do you want me to put in brackets, for example, you know, away from the fur trade, or is this okay, the economic diversification?
No, that looks okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So why did economic diversification fail? Why did it fail? Okay, and the answer was mercantilism. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, they were making enough money from the fur trade. They had a good thing going, and they were not very encouraged to like do other things. Okay. Number 7, New France. The political part of New France was you had the royal government, which was, now we say royal government means the King of France, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll just put New France like this. The economic was the fur trade. And the territory was all the way from Quebec to the Gulf of Mexico. So you have to remember that when we're talking about during the time of the royal government, Quebec is going all the way to the Gulf of Mexico for New France. This is before the British come. Okay? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Following issues played a causal role in clashes leading to war of conquest. Now, causal role. Do you understand what this means?
Casual roles, yeah.
Okay, I'm using the language of the exam, that's why. So
Okay.
the following issues played a causal role in clashes leading to war of conquest. Okay, territorial expansion, control of fishing, control of fur trade. So these things, the British wanted the control of the fur trade, they wanted the control of the fishing, and they wanted to expand their territory. So I'll just add the comment here, New France. want to conquer and occupy. Does that make better sense? Okay. The
Yep.
following issues played a causal role, means reasons for British to want to conquer and occupy New France. The reason why is because they wanted to expand their territory. They wanted control of fishing. They wanted control of fur trade. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do agree. I actually do think it makes sense. Well, at least in my point. I don't know about for Nick.
What?
It's clear, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9, reason for the fall of the French regime. Okay, why did they fall? Okay, immense territory and difficult to defend. Right? Not enough people. Not enough soldiers. Okay? And I think that you guys remembered that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. British sent support in terms of soldiers and materials and ships. Okay, so that's why you guys got that one right, that answer, right? Now, this is a short answer question, okay? Which constitution or act? Which constitution or act created the province of Quebec? Okay, and the short answer is Royal Proclamation. This is where I forgot yesterday, and I gave you the wrong answer. I gave you like a Constitution Act, and it's not. Constitutional Act is dividing Canada into Upper and Lower Canada. Royal
Yeah,
Proclamation.
When you said that, I was like,
yeah, I was wrong.
I was like thinking, I was like, wait a minute. So this whole time I was wrong? I was like, what?
No,
like,
no.
It was like it was implanted in my head. I remember it so clearly. You kept saying it.
Mr. Kutash is losing it a little bit being in isolation, I think.
Okay, so I'm not the only one then.
No. Okay, yeah. So now it's official. That was one mistake, and there was another mistake which we're gonna go over. Okay.
Don't say that now, Mr. Kutash. It's not good reputation, that part.
I know. Okay, I didn't say it. Okay, number 11. What change happened from the Quebec Act? Okay, what did the Quebec Act bring? Okay, so it brought French civil law was reestablished. It allowed people to practice the religion. Okay, and the Test Act was abolished. Okay, now I think I should mention what the Test Act was. Do you remember what the Test Act was?
Shoots. Try to remember precisely, but it meant.
It means that they had to basically show their loyalty, prove their loyalty to the Church of England.
Oh, okay, that part, yeah.
Okay, and that one was discriminatory against the French because the French they were Catholic. They're not going to give up their religion just because, if they want to be part of the government. That's not fair, right?
No.
Okay. So is that clear?
Yeah, actually it is more. Actually, I'm more.
Okay. So now change from Royal Proclamation to American Revolution. Now, do you know why I have it in yellow and this in green?
Not sure exactly.
The reason why is because I want to show that the Royal Proclamation, the stuff in yellow here were established right in the Royal Proclamation. So Quebec province was created with the Royal Proclamation. English law is introduced with the Royal Proclamation. The Test Act was introduced with Royal Proclamation. Okay. The green stuff is the stuff that happened because of the American Revolution. The English population increases because of the American Revolution, because the Loyalists they didn't want to be part of a separate United States that was separate country from Britain. They wanted to be part of Britain, so the only part of Britain in North America was New France. So they went there, right? So the English population increased. Eastern townships are settled. Population demanded a legislative assembly, right? And the stuff in the blue is the stuff that happened between the Royal Proclamation and the American Revolution. The territory extends from Labrador to Mississippi. There was freedom of worship, Catholic worship, and American colonies revolt. Okay, so that's the stuff that happened in between. Okay, so is that clear?
Yeah, actually, I do think, yeah.
Okay.
That's actually pretty clear.
So now, after the Constitutional Act of 1791, I'm making that in bold because notice there's not a lot of years here. We have 1534. Okay, here we're saying it's in the 1600s and 1700s, but we're not saying the exact year. But now, lo and behold, we have Constitutional Act with 1791. So you need to remember that year. That's important.
Continental Act 1791.
Yeah. Okay, and what did the Constitutional Act give? It basically divided province of Quebec into Upper and Lower Canada. That's what you have to remember, that what it did. That's one of the main things. And the timber industry, okay, basically replaced. It provoked decline of the fur trade. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That's true.
Okay. So that's good. And Upper and Lower Canada had legislative assembly. Okay, so they had that. Okay. Number 14, agricultural crisis. Okay. So this is from 1820 to 1840. And it was due to, why was there an agricultural crisis? Because there was an overpopulation of the seigneuries, which means there were immigrants coming in and loyalists. There were more people coming into the seigneuries than they could handle. So it put a strain on the food supplies, because now they have to feed more people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So number 15, we're talking about the causes of the rebellions. Okay, and this one, I think you guys are good. Lack of responsible government, control of budget by the Legislative Assembly. You got that answer right on the test. Now, Lord Durham, okay, he basically was in reaction to these rebellions, right? And his proposal was to unite Upper and Lower Canada, okay, and grant responsible government. Okay, so very important here. I'm going to highlight, he wanted to assimilate the French, right? That's why he wants to unite them, Upper and Lower, right? Okay, so it's basically to assimilate the French. Number 17, it's a short answer kind of question. And by the way, when I say these numbers, they don't match the numbers on the exam, right? These are just numbers of facts that you need to know. They're not like the number 17 on the exam is a short answer. No, I'm just saying that you need to know, for a short answer, you need to know Act of Union. Okay, so which act or constitution had the following? Governor represented the king, one legislative assembly for Canada and East and Canada West. Once we're talking about Canada East and Canada West, guys, that's Act of Union. They go together. Okay, before that, it's Upper Canada and Lower Canada. In the Act of Union, it's Canada East and Canada West. Okay, and then I think there's one last one. Which act or constitution is described below? Economic crisis in England provoked shift in favor of free trade. So here we're talking about free trade, and we're talking about economic crisis, okay, and it's in England, okay, and the answer is Act of Union.